the spirits flow. You found your way to the lost gold. We're chasing the lost gold. We're chasing a trail that has long gone cold. To tell the stories that must be told. Michael's jokes light up the night. Katie's eyes catch every sight. MaryLynn connects with other realms. Together they unveil the tales. Paranormal cryptids, aliens too. Exploring mysteries old and new. Ghost legend, these unknown. And MaryLynn, not alone. Laughs and chills, truth and fun. Their journey's just begun. Step into the shadows, step into the night. Seeking the truth that's hidden from sight.
I like how MaryLynn looks more like Carrie Underwood there.
Who's Carrie?
Oh,
Wait,
AI.
who's Carrie Underwood? Wait, what?
In the AI, like at the very end, you
A
know?
country singer.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Hot mama. Yeah. Welcome
See, I'm
everybody to
putting
another
my mouth.
episode. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I just wanted to launch right in. Go ahead, MaryLynn.
I was trying to find that outfit, and it was hard to do. So
Did AI just automatically put that on you?
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, here we go. So, welcome to another episode of the Law Scope podcast. I'm Katie here with MaryLynn and Mike G, Mr. Samsonite, and Miss Just Me. And Is it Friday yet? Everybody, we have a very special guest with us. He is the paranormal host at the very haunted Fort Mifflin in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's a living landmark. It is one of the only intact Revolutionary War battlefields, which we'll get into. And I'm really excited because I'm from that neck of the woods, and it was recently rated the #1 most haunted site in all of Pennsylvania. And I find it very apropos that we're having Mr. Greg OBrien on during that 250th celebration of our country in a couple of days. Everybody, please welcome Greg OBrien to the show this evening.
Thank you.
How are
Mr.
you?
One and only GOB.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here.
That's a very nice fan you have.
Yeah, I like that, trim the hair.
Yeah. It looks like it has excellent wind flow.
It does.
With that, we will make our first spirits to the spirits of Fort
Spirits of the
Mifflin
spirit.
and their
Cheers to Fort
success
Mifflin.
and being crazy haunted. And
Mhm.
it is.
It is. We can't talk about it, but we spent some time with Mr. Greg at Fort Mifflin back in the fall.
Yeah,
We had a
it was
good time. Yeah, that was a good night.
Oh man, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
It took
Yep.
a while. That was definitely that was easily when we are there, when we do filming, typically everything is kind of like off the cuff, and I just kind of show up, I tell people kind of what I want to have done, and then it just kind of happens. And then even MaryLynn sometimes doesn't even really know what I'm going to do. But this was one of those cases where maybe I bit off a little bit more than what I initially wanted to chew, and we were there for a minute. I got intimately familiar with the porta potties there.
Yeah, you did. And Greg was
he was a trooper.
he was a trooper. We were supposed to only be there till like 10 o'clock at night. And Greg, I think we were there till like 1 in the morning. It was nuts.
And we were all like
one.
super
It was
tired because
it was we had that storm come in, so it was like we better get you guys wrapped up. We got that storm coming. But it was a good night.
Yeah.
I mean,
I forgot
it was like I tell people, the fort never disappoints, and it was very good and active that night.
Mm-hmm.
I saw an oyster.
You did?
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, oyster. There's a lot of oyster shells. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, a lot of oyster shells here they
I
dig
thought-
up. They ate well good back then.
Mm-hmm.
So many shells of the oyster are just all over. A cloister of oyster.
Yep.
You know?
Oyster of oysters.
Yeah. Oh, and then the crazy part was that's the first time I've ever seen like what's the show like? It kind of reminded me of like a combination of both The Fly and Mimic. When like we go into like the mosquito breeding grounds, you know?
Yes.
And oh my god. truly terrifying. Truly terrifying.
Yes, we can say the ceiling was crawling.
It was so wild.
Was that in one of the casemates? Where was that?
In one of the
That's
casemates.
people got to go find out for themselves.
Yep.
Go down to
Good point.
Fort Mifflin and adventure,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Yeah.
will be
Yeah,
amazed. at
there's
some
lots of
the incredible
wildlife from
things.
there.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit about for the uninitiated? Because we've all been there, and I live near there. Do you want to tell people a little bit about the fort and why it's so important?
Yeah, it was laid out in 1771 by the British to protect Philadelphia, which was your largest English-speaking city in the colonies then, and then British ran out of money, and Americans took it over in 1777 and 1775, and then 1777 is the Philadelphia campaign, and the British had occupied Philadelphia, and there was men at the fort. It was an island back then, and they were given an order by Washington to hold to the last extremity. They held off like 250 British ships and over 2,000 British military personnel for 5 weeks, and became the largest naval bombardment in the Revolutionary War. Over at the height of the siege, the British were shooting up to 10,000 cannonballs an hour at the Americans. Out of the 400 that were stationed
cannibals?
in there, cannonballs, balls.
Okay.
Yeah, over 10,000 cannonballs. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know though.
You
There
know,
could've
the
been cannibals.
cannibals, they came later.
Yeah.
It could have
And
been.
you-
They were shooting them out.
You said the
But
British ran out of money.
and then they ran out of money. They went over budget in 1773, and then they left it sitting there. And then 1775, good old Ben Franklin organized a committee to get some money, and the Americans they didn't finish it. The British owned, and the Americans came in with earth and log just to shore it up. But yeah, they held on long enough that Washington established winter quarters in Valley Forge. So the fort became known as the fort that saved America. And it was your longest active military fort in United States history. Revolutionary War through the Korean War, deactivated in 1954. It was active World War I, II, and Korean War. They had munitions depot and supply depot for the Navy Yard, which is just up the river. Civil War was a military prison. Civilian, Confederates, and Union prisoners. When it was rebuilt under Adams in the 1790s, it was during the yellow fever epidemic. So I like to tell people that it's unique and haunted area locations is that it has layers of history, layers of death, and layers of spirits. I mean, you have the Revolutionary soldiers that died during the siege of 1777. You have the yellow fever deaths in the 1790s. You have the prisoner deaths in the Civil War from dysentery and other diseases that ran through. It was a military fort, so you had executions, you had firing squad deaths, hanging. There was a public hanging of a Union soldier there, and we're right on the Delaware River, so you have drowning victims. So it covers everything there. So you get a whole spectrum of different entities that are wandering around the fort.
That's pretty crazy. And just to be clear, the British, they were still using pounds then, right? For the money?
Yeah, they had, well, it was the sterlings, they would pay in sterling in their currency.
I was just wondering if that was why they decided to switch to kilos.
Yeah, just drop it right off in the river.
Yeah, yeah. So what with everything that it almost sounds like Fort Mifflin was like the American version of 300,
Sparta.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It was, and a lot of people describe it as the pre-Alamo. These guys just fought. I mean, they were getting slaughtered. When the British opened up, it was described the guys were getting cut down like corn stalks, and you had the men that were still standing, that they rode across the Delaware to Fort Mercer, the 150 that were left standing, because they ran out of. They only had 2 working cannons left. They had no ammunition, no gunpowder. Up to a point, they were giving guys rations of rum to retrieve cannonballs so they could shoot them back at the British.
Wow.
But there was eventually not as many. No one was left standing, and when the British Marines landed, they were just amazed. They described it, there's pieces of limbs, flesh, all over. I mean, it was just carnage, total carnage of these patriots.
And can you imagine being there with 2 working cannons? That's it. To think Viagra wouldn't be
That was it.
until like 1990.
Just shooting everything. Yeah. I mean, it was an island, so eventually the British built land batteries. They had their ships, and they just opened fire and just blasted the hell out of the place.
That's nuts, man. And they stuck it out. They finished. It became obviously like it's a huge piece of history. I think, isn't that where Benjamin Franklin, he showed up and said something like, "Dost thou have bitches here?" I think that's what he's famous for quoting there. He was a ladies' man. He really was. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when it was over in Europe.
That's true. Yeah, I think Paris, right? I think is actually where he.
Paris, and
he found his first French word,
Yeah,
syphilis.
Cheers to that. Mike's like, "Wee, cheers to syphilis." Sorry, Greg. We sometimes get very inappropriate. So
that's fine. I spent a night with you guys already.
That's
so.
true.
Right.
That's
He
true.
knows.
Yeah, that's true.
He's OG now. He's OGOB.
It's true. He's OG. So for people who aren't familiar with the fort, one of the fun, quirky things about the fort I find is that it is literally within the airspace of the Philadelphia International Airport. So every 30 seconds, you have this airplane, flying right over, and you can look up and hear them. And I just think that's the coolest thing. So, and when I've seen videos, and it's one of those things where what fort you're at when you see a plane over and you're like, oh, that must be Fort Mifflin. It's pretty.
And you can
it's
almost
pretty
count
neat.
the windows and see the people looking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys do reenactments too, right?
Yes, we do. We get a lot of activity going on this weekend with the 4th. So there'll be a lot of reenacting, and every November with the anniversary of the siege of 1777, we do the big revolutionary reenactment. But we do Civil War, since it was Civil War prison. We do Civil War reenacting, and World War I, World War II reenacting. So we cover everything.
Nice.
So yeah. But yeah, I mean, the airport expanded, and I always tell people when I talk that, anybody have any questions, There's no such thing as a stupid question unless you ask why they built the fort so close to the airport. And, we've gotten that.
Yeah, like what were they thinking?
Right.
What were they thinking? They put it right by the airport.
Right.
Yeah, my favorite is the visitor center for the 1 mile crater, the meteor that hit in Arizona.
Yes.
Right.
Can you believe how close it came to just destroying the visitor center? I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Right.
Talk about lucky.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, you fall right in.
Yeah. So, whew, on that one. So, how did you get involved? How did you get involved with Fort Mifflin?
It all started way back. I used to take my son when he was old enough to all the revolutionary locations around, I got involved with the paranormal because of Fort Mifflin. We were there when he was older with the Scouts, and it was right after the reenactment, the siege weekend, and we were there the weekend after, and place was just hopping. I mean, adults, we were getting up and hearing voices. We were chasing figures around the property. We're doing head counts with the Scouts. All the Scouts are there, but then we'll see the bodies running around. It was nuts. So that got me involved with the paranormal, and then I got involved with the fort, volunteering, helping out, and got more involved with the paranormal, and eventually got asked if I'd want to be there as the paranormal host, and I said, hell yeah. So, I've been doing this over 10 years now at the fort.
Dang. Would you go anywhere else to volunteer? Like anywhere other?
I would, I've done, yes, I've done, before I got really busy at the fort, I did stuff. I volunteered over at the Paoli battlefield and some other places. But then things just got too busy at the fort to go out any other place. But I still hit other places around. Of course, you have Penhurst out there, and there's Selma Mansion and White Hill Mansion, a lot of different places around. So, everybody in the area likes to help each other out. So I'll go and get invited and go someplace. So it's nice. And
I've never heard of a Selma Mansion, but she's got nice jugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's in Norristown, Pennsylvania. It's an old mansion that was built in one of the I think the Rittenhouses had that place out there. So it's really neat.
That's cool.
It was way back.
That's as old as the fort, I think. Selma. That's from like the late.
Yeah, it's old.
Yeah.
Yeah, sits up on the hill. They had an observatory there and everything. Yeah, it's a neat place.
Yeah, it's a cool place. I was there over. I did a Halloween investigation there this past Halloween with a bunch of local ghost hunters, and it was pretty active. It's a really cool place to check out.
Yep.
Oh, that.
Yep.
But that's not. Was it? It's not like a war. It's not like
no, not a battlefield or
Okay,
anything.
okay.
Just history of who lived there.
Yeah.
Is there any other like war type of battlefield that you want to have on your bucket list to visit? Like the Normandy Beach, or
Yeah, that would be good. I mean, I've been out to Gettysburg. Of course, there's the Paoli battlefield out here. That a lot of people don't know about the Paoli battlefield. That I think that's the seventh largest. Seventh most casualties in the Revolutionary War was there. That's when the Americans, it was General Wayne,
Anthony Wayne,
Matt Anthony.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Washington had him spying on the British, and they were lined up to go into Philadelphia. They had a 16-mile long convoy, and he was at the tail end, but then somebody reported where their camp was, and then the British came through. They were told to remove their flints and just bayonet, and they came in and charged, and just started bayoneting, and the Americans, they were shooting, so that the British could see the blast, so they knew where the Americans were, and they just bayoneted everybody. So that was a major. There's like 40 some Americans still buried there. There's a grave.
Wow.
So that's a cool spot.
Mhm.
That's a really neat spot. So yeah. So there's that, and then of course Brandywine battlefield.
Mhm.
So
Brandywine, that's from Lord of the Rings, right? One of the hobbits? No, that's
Hobbits.
Brandy Buck. That's Brandy Buck. That's different.
yeah, down at Chad's Ford, it was called the Battle of Brandywine because it was the Brandywine Creek. So that's Washington got his butt. He got outflanked, and they had a retreat, and that's when Continental Congress left Philly and went to York, and they took the Liberty Bell and up to Bethlehem, so it wouldn't get melted down. But then that's when Hal then marched into Philly unopposed, basically.
So, but so he got out.
And then that's when no, that was just to say that then that's then the whole Fort Mifflin started.
Wow. So I mean, that was. I haven't really looked much into I know that obviously George Washington was quite instrumental in the Revolutionary War, but I was never familiar if he actually had any close calls. But what you just described is one of those, I guess, almost moments when this could have been a very different, very quick war had he actually not been able to escape, I suppose.
A British sharpshooter had him in sight and then shoot him.
Really?
And Lafayette got wounded there at the Battle of Brandywine.
Lafayette, that's the city in Louisiana.
Yep.
That's all I know.
Yeah, they have good shrimp down there. Yeah, it was the French general Lafayette.
Oh wow!
Yep.
I see. Look at this. Oh, we're learning. What's up, Ron? We're learning so much
Hi, Ron.
from Greg.
Yeah, he's a
We're
walking
getting a master class.
historian.
Well, you got to know for me, you need to know if you're going to do any kind of paranormal location, you need to know the history. Yeah. And so, I mean, it helps. I mean, people always ask, did you ever hear this name before? Did you ever hear this name before? And it's like, here's a bunch of documentations of everything. Wow. I do my research of everything, and that's just some of it, finding who died, all kinds of stuff. So you need to know your history.
Is there anything that ever surprises you? Like now that you've been in the game for a while, you've done paranormal stuff. Are there still like moments where you're like, wow, maybe I need to look more into that, or I was not aware of that, and maybe I need to do a little bit of digging only to find out that, holy crap, there's something there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. You always find something new. I didn't know, when during the Civil War, there was Confederate prisoners. After the Battle of Brandywine, they initially brought a bunch of the prisoners to Fort Mifflin, and then after a while they took them down to Fort Delaware. And I always wondered why they kept them at Fort Mifflin first. And it turns out before the war, Robert E. Lee was, in the regular U.S. Army. He was in charge of upkeep, renovations of military forts, and he actually was responsible for taking care of Fort Mifflin there for a while. So I was like, wow.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
so that's something I just found out. So
that's cool.
So that explains. You find things, you wonder why did this happen? Why is this going on? And you do little research, and you learn about it. It's always so. There's always something new that pops up that you learn about.
That's
So have
really
you ever
and
considered writing a book about what you do?
Eventually, I like to. I mean, it's just I've had so much. People always ask, what has happened? What has happened to you at the fort? And I say, well, just you name it, it's happened to me. I mean, I've seen full body shadow figures. I've been EVPs, AVPs, I mean, I've had stuff climb over me, go through me. I've had things thrown at me. I've been, touched, grabbed, you name it. I mean, so you get to the point where, nothing really phases you anymore. But my goal right now is just to sit down and talk face to face with the spirit, I mean,
That would be cool.
yeah, that's what I work on now. If we have people over and they leave early, hang out for a couple hours and just sit in the dark. Like I'll go down to Casemate 5, or I'll sit out in the front porch and the bench and just start talking, and hopefully somebody comes up and sits next to me and goes face to face with me. So that's my goal.
I've been writing a book about trying to write a book. Yeah, it's not going well. So
yeah, it just got to get started, so it's something that would be neat.
yeah, I think that would be pretty dang awesome, man. And I think that the face to face, you talk about just really having that one-on-one interaction with a spirit. I think that's I think that's a bucket list for just about anyone, right?
Right.
But it's funny that you bring that up, because I had this weird thought process last night where, speaking of, you're talking about revolutionary, their language patterns were different then than they are now. I mean, it's still, English, but
Right.
the way that they put things together was quite different, right?
And how they spelled stuff.
How they spelt it, how they pronounced what was considered slang was different. Their terminology was just quite different than what we're used to now. So when people talk to ghosts now, when they use a spirit box, when they technicians assist, they're trying to get they're trying to talk to somebody that may have the same type of dialect or same type of information that I have right now, right? But when you're talking about
Right.
somebody from Civil War or even Revolutionary, you're talking about a completely different type of, almost like a different dialect. It's almost difficult to conversate with, because they're thinking that you sound like an idiot and you're like, I don't understand you at all, right? And it made me
Right.
think, at what point does a ghost decide that it's no longer relevant, right? And to use this as an example, to go further back, let's go to Europe, and let's take maybe somebody that was Greek, that believed in the Greek pantheon. The pantheon doesn't exist anymore, right? There's no religious belief that follows the same belief that somebody like an Archimedes or Achilles, that doesn't exist anymore, right? The way they spoke Latin, they used a Greek, or they used Latin, they used a different, completely different technology in the way that they spoke, that no longer exists. There's no one for them to talk to. So at what point do they decide that they're no longer relevant and dissipate?
Yeah.
Right? And it's places like,
Yep.
it's people like Greg who do a lot of that, the history, that delve deep, can kind of help keep some of those alive, keep them around.
Hi, Kelly.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of times get a lot of good responses as I'm talking about them. I talk, I'll go over stuff I talk about. And, when people are there, I always tell them, just have a nice conversation, and, don't be, don't do the standard. What is your name? How did you die?
Yeah.
Do you know you are dead? Just, introduce yourself, have a little conversation, and get them nice and comfortable, and let them start chiming in, and, I find that to be the work that works the best for me, and it works the best really at the fort, because we have a lot when we have the school groups, we have a lot of kids that will cite. They're always talk about a spirit that hangs out, and I really think with the tour guide doing a tour, they hang out just to make sure people are saying the correct, giving the correct tour, to giving the correct facts. You know, they're hanging out to make sure, and they appreciate it when you talk about them and you bring up the correct facts.
And that actually brings up another very interesting point in can a ghost, can a spirit, can they adapt, right? Can they understand our terminology? Or they're like, oh, I'm starting to picking up on what they're trying to, purvey to me. I get it. Facts you mentioned, like they're talking about if you died, if you fought at that revolutionary last stand, and you're getting bombarded and you get taken out, you may not know at that time the ending. You don't know how it ends, right? You're gone. But maybe over time you're able to learn. So can a ghost, a spirit that maybe has died, that didn't know, can they learn? Can they still learn those facts to keep Greg on point?
Yeah, it makes a lot of good sense.
Yep, I think they can, because they're hanging around and they're there. They're going to be hearing things for centuries of listening to people and just kind of growing with them, even though they can't physically do anything. They're just there and they are learning.
And then it makes you wonder, at what point do they decide, okay, it's been centuries, maybe it's time for me to move on? Do they wait for somebody else to tag team in? Say, hey, George was there. George, you take over. Let me tell you everything I know, so I can go on and you take over.
And that's a possibility.
Right.
I think a lot of it too is they don't know how to move on, and you get someone there that can help them cross over.
Tap them out. You're done.
Yep.
Scram.
Yep. And I have a theory too with the revolutionary spirits that are there. There were deserters, and after Washington retook Philadelphia, for whatever reason, these deserters were hanging out still in Philadelphia, and when they got captured, there was a major hanging, up to 11 deserters on Market Street. So yeah, and there were other deserters that were shot at the fort and everything. So I always think that maybe these guys' penance, their sentence for deserting and their fellow soldiers is now to spend eternity defending the fort there. So I always thought that happens.
I can't say that I have a ton of experience with this, but due to my own dumbassery, I guess, I fell, I hit my head. Obviously, Greg, you got to talk to me a little bit. The irony is, Greg, because of my head injury, I don't remember being at Fort Mifflin very much, but I bring this up because I didn't have much memory from my own death experience, and it made me. So I talked to MaryLynn about this, and I said, well, maybe I felt like I just wasn't worthy. I wasn't worthy of what comes next. And it's, you saying paying a penance, right? It's the same thing.
Right.
They just don't feel like they're worthy to continue on. They haven't earned whatever is supposed to be their next spot, so they stay in hopes that maybe they could find a way to come to terms with what has passed and make it right. And for all we know, maybe that never actually gets to happen for some people.
Yeah, agree.
Right?
Yep. And some are just too afraid to cross over. They don't know where they're going to go, so they just.
Greg stole a large French fry from Wendy's. He's never going to live it down.
Yeah, they're afraid of what's waiting on the other side.
Yeah.
Yes.
I never really.
And somebody could be preventing them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I can't say that this is true. This is just my own opinion from what I've experienced, but it's really is my thought that, we all, I feel like a lot of it we try to base on religion, but I think really religion is really just a way for us to counter belief with knowledge within ourselves. And I think that's where you come down to trying to decide whether or not you are, in fact, worthy of what is supposed to come next.
I agree.
Yeah. I don't know. I literally could just be, like I said, I could have been a memorial on a sidewalk. You know what I mean? And stuck. Going up and down the stupid Beverly Hills sidewalk like a homeless bum, But I got a second life. I got a second chance to find a reason why I am more worthy of being stuck as a memorial on a sidewalk, right? And it's very possible that people that, that get killed in the, like the Revolutionary War, they get hit by a cannonball. Maybe they're like, I just didn't do enough. I could have warned somebody. I should have shouted. I could have done so much more than to take a cannonball in the face. But I was scared. I wasn't thinking. I didn't do the right things. And now here I am. And so now my penance, my attempt to find a way to make myself worthy again is to remind people of my mistakes, of what history is, to keep it from repeating itself. I don't know. Maybe.
Greg, do you ever encounter spirits like that? Have you ever received communication at the fort from spirits that are remorseful or feel full of grief, or
Yeah, Greg,
for
say
things
something. Jesus.
things that they've done? He's taking it all in.
Yeah. No, I mean, I haven't had anyone like that. I mean, we had the William Howe, who was the Union.
He got hung, right?
He got hung. He was hung.
That.
He was the Union. I mean, he was basically a Union hero at the Battle of Fredericksburg. He ended up being a hero at that battle, and he got sick, and he didn't want to go to a field hospital, and he went up to his house up there in Perkiomenville, Pennsylvania, and and it was dysentery, and the marshals came after 6 months of him not being around, and a shot rang out. A marshal was killed, so he got accused of desertion and murder, and that's why he was hung. So some people think, and then it was a public hanging.
Right.
They sold tickets, and so
was he the only public hanging?
He was the only public hanging. Yeah. They sold tickets for him. Everybody else, they just
I bet you it was in dollars, not pounds.
It would be in dollars. Yeah. So I just think he has some he has some remorse for what he of doing, but he also has some thinking that for what he did was basically self-defense. They never identified themselves. They bang at the door. There's a shot. So
a cautionary tale, right?
Yeah. So he's I think there's remorse on his part, and there's some hatred on his part too for what they did to him.
And you don't want to be known for that, right? You don't want to be, that's the reason. Hey, if there is a hell, that's not why I want to go, right? Because I need to explain myself, right? Because you guys got it all wrong. So the only way for me to show you that you got it all wrong is to stay, is to try to defend myself, to show you why I am worthy of being heard.
Right.
And that's William Howe, for all we know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And for
William,
for
how'd
people,
you do it?
And for people who aren't familiar with the geography, like Greg mentioned earlier, the fort is right on the Delaware River, which separates, Pennsylvania from New Jersey. Greg, what are your thoughts on water being a conduit for spirits, since it's literally on this big, huge, major river? I mean, the Delaware River is a major river, and I'm sure there were ships that, went up and down, and vessels. So what are your thoughts on water being a conduit for some of the spirits that you have there, or, it being a hub for other spirits that are coming and going.
Oh yeah, I mean definitely. I mean, plus it's got the moat surrounding it too, which which is tidal with the river. So yeah, definitely, because there's been a lot of drownings, and people wash up or covered all, and they still, it's still a very active river. So this time of year, you got skidoos out there, jet skis and boats, and people are still drowning out there.
Wow.
So there's still a lot of death, but yeah, I think which with the old stone walls, the original stone walls, you got the granite. So you got the granite and the water. I think it attracts.
Can't take it for granted.
Yep. So I think it could be like a transfer center too. People coming through, getting in there and transferring through. Some people, call it like a portal. So I do believe that there are spirits that are there temporary that just come and go. So and it does attract them.
Yeah, in Japanese mythology, it is, water is like the main source of conduit, really, I guess, to attracting the underworld, right? Like that's what they can vibe on, they feed on. So it's quite possible that it's the same here too. You never know.
Yeah. And we're 70% water? What's our body?
Yeah, 70% water.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
it's not Della over there, it's Delaware.
So,
You
Hi,
know?
Do you
Julia.
think the airport has anything to do with the being a conduit as well?
Yes, definitely is a conduit.
So, MaryLynn, I'm going to bring this up because I don't know what will be revealed in the episodes yet or not, but you had an opportunity to do some of your intuitive paintings, right? And I
Yes.
think Greg got one, right?
He got
Yes, the fort got.
Do you have it with you,
Yeah.
Greg?
Well, I don't have. No, they were at the fort. We gave them to the fort.
So,
The other two, they went to the other two. I gave them to the special guests.
nice.
right, yes. Yeah, they were from Opportunity Village, so we're very happy for that. So, MaryLynn, when you were doing that, and obviously you're trying to focus on the person, right? Like you're focusing on Greg, you're focusing on
Yes.
special guests, right? Do you still does that having all that water, all that extra energy, that resource, I guess, does that affect how you were able to do that, do you think?
Absolutely. There, if you notice in the painting, there was a lot of red, and that was a lot represented for the blood. There was a lot of blood.
Well, I
that was
don't
there.
remember shit.
Well, I know you don't, but but yeah, it does. Just the energies, and it's on location. It's like I'm focusing on Greg, but I'm also focusing on the fort. So it's what's happening around there, and just all those energies. It was very chaotic.
Yeah, I do vaguely remember seeing Greg's and thinking to myself, this describes Fort Mifflin.
Yeah, it really did. It was a lot like it looked like a lot of water around, and I mean, it really showed
That's true.
Fort Mifflin.
Yes, and I think that's pretty awesome to you kind of see, like, I guess, like the psychic eye, I guess that spiritual point of view as to what is actually happening at Fort Mifflin, because people may not realize that just because they're not there, it's not like the spirits of Fort Mifflin go on, like, vacation or clock out, right? It's something that is always there, with or without you, with or without Greg. They continue to do what they're set to do, what they feel they need to do, right?
Yes, they definitely.
Well, and the thing is, with so many visitors coming in, those people bring things with them as well. Sometimes those will be temporary stays there.
Like fleas.
Pretty much, yes, or mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes. Yeah. I was going to say, Greg, you probably have some ghost mosquitoes too.
Right.
I become immune to the bites.
Oh,
Oh wow.
They don't bite me anymore. I guess they
What
did
is that?
too much. They injected my blood with so much stuff that they they don't bother
they
biting.
don't
Isn't
bother
away
biting
now.
you. Yeah,
I
you're
think we
tapped
lost
out.
Mike.
We lost Mike. What do you do?
I don't know. He was saying he was laughing and then he went away, but he'll be back.
Yeah, he at least
He jumped on. He jumped on a table.
right.
I remember that. Yes.
Yeah,
I
I
thought he
remember
broke
that.
it.
Yeah, yeah. That was a fun night. Yeah,
It was definitely, and because
Yeah.
I know we did the episode with it, so we're waiting for that to be re-edited, and so that way
Yeah.
we can put that out. But there was a lot of stuff that happened with there that we can't really talk about because I don't know what's going in the episode and what's not. But just the energies and everything that's there, it's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it just. I always like to tell people, you know. I mean, you could be, you know, overcome with emotions. It happens a lot. Sometimes people get very nauseous.
Have you had people cry?
Oh yeah, people just overcome with emotions and start crying. It happens a lot. Yeah.
It would be interesting to find out if they have any type of lineage.
You would think, yeah. I mean, there's people, you know, people that don't know they're open. You know, they find out really quick if they have the gift when they go there because you know they find them. The spirits find them. I had one time a gentleman there, and I mean, he started crying, and he was getting images left and right, and he was describing in detail things that had happened at the fort, and he's never was at the fort before, and he never experienced anything like that before. It was just really. Incredible to see that. So I mean, he just was blown away with what was happening.
See, but
So that
that's
sounds
actually
like a
pretty
past
cool.
life experience.
What was
A
that?
past life experience with him being able to go into detail with that.
It could have been, yeah.
You know, and if even if it wasn't, and it was just him kind of like realizing that, wow, I can kind of expand my spiritualism. That alone, I mean, you could have just opened them up to saying, hey, I need to know more about what the world has to offer, man. And that's awesome.
Yep.
And you're right about Florida. Florida does have a lot of rare species.
ugh,
So open for business there means something very different.
they don't have
Yeah.
deer season in Florida like we do up here. They have human season. So
Yeah.
Right?
Honestly, the only time I've ever heard about somebody eating someone's face off happened in Florida. Yeah. Guy got like all whacked out on bath salts and ate somebody's face off. Like,
I thought that was Los Angeles.
no, that was Florida.
That was Florida.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
I will never forget that. That was, whew. But yeah, so I think that's what's so cool about Fort Mifflin is not only are you dealing with, you know, one monumental event being, you know, obviously the Revolutionary. You're also dealing with the Civil War. You know, you mentioned the Korean War, which also means that I'm sure there had to have been stops for World War I, World War II. We didn't do much in World War I, but
Yes.
World War II for sure. So
Yeah, there was World War I and II
Okay.
munitions depot, and then they put anti-aircraft guns during World War II at the fort to protect the Navy Yard. So yeah,
and at some point you realize this is no longer a place. It's really a meaning, right? This place has meaning. There are multiple avenues of just agony, distress, anxiety, you know, just the thoughts that can pursue someone to no end, all can be right there at Fort Mifflin.
yeah. Like as I say, just layers of
I agree.
history, layers of death there. Just just stacked on top of each other, and so yeah.
And Greg, someone just mentioned baking like a cookie. I think that was my wife.
Hmm.
I take it you don't tan. So you just naturally, just from being there, look like a hot dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hot there.
Yeah. It's hot there. Yeah, I try to get outside as much as I can. Plus, if you're out by the fort or anything, and you're out by the water.
Well, that's good. Katie looks like unbaked flour. So
Yeah, she's a little pale
Yeah,
there.
it's my camera. Sorry.
yeah, she looks closer to Poe than Poe does.
I do. Yep.
It's crazy. So have you ever looked at, any of the actual like grave sites of like George Washington or Robert E. Lee? Have you been to any of those?
I have not. No, I want to get out to in the 1870s. They were relocating the cemetery that was there at Fort Mifflin to a new military cemetery in Philadelphia, and so they exhumed a bunch of the bodies.
Really?
And I need to get out there and pay homage to those. There's women and children plus soldiers that died at the fort that were buried there at the fort, but then they were relocated. So I need to get out there and pay homage to them. That's one on my bucket list to get out there, and they're at one military cemetery, and they're in one plot of that cemetery. So I got to get out there. And
Which cemetery is that, Greg? Where are they buried?
Wow,
I'm having a mic
business,
moment,
Katie.
so I can't recall that cemetery right now, but it's
In Philly, though, like in the Philly area.
it's in Philadelphia.
We
Yeah,
should see if we
I mean,
can
and
figure
then
out. We
once
should film it. It would
Yeah.
be great to see you
once
go out and see that.
I have it. I have the information somewhere. I just can't think of it right
I was
now.
gonna Google.
But also while they were exhuming the bodies, when word got out and some grave robbers started coming in
Of course.
and then desecrated a bunch of the other graves. So yeah.
What about William Howe? Where was he buried?
He wasn't allowed to be buried in the family. His church. So he got buried out in the woods by the family property, and it was neglected for years. And finally, it's being the grave site was cleaned up, and they have the flags there and everything. But yeah, it was out by his family property.
And that
They
is
want to do it.
exactly why people stick around after death. Just praying.
Yeah,
to
he was
find a way.
disrespected.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, he wasn't allowed to be buried in the church cemetery at all. They stuck him basically. The grave was neglected in the woods for years. Just out there.
So he was pretty much ostracized from the church.
Yes, completely.
Wow.
Was it the Philadelphia National Cemetery?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Where's that at? Philadelphia?
Yeah, also known as Old Philadelphia Lazaretto Quarantine Station Burial Ground. That's a mouthful.
Wow.
No, that's not that.
That's
one.
not it?
The old Lazaretto. Nah, the old Lazaretto was Fort Mifflin was on Mud Island.
Right.
The old Lazaretto was on Providence Island. That was put in when the Quakers, the Germans, came over.
Okay.
That's where any sick people were, and they moved that downriver later on. But that's part of the Army Corps of Engineers. They relocated, supposedly relocated bodies that were buried there too. But now that's where the Army Corps dumps its dredgings on that area.
I think I remember you mentioning when we were there that they found a bunch of bodies, just kind of like a
Mass burial.
Yeah, like maybe like it was a mass burial, and they were trying to move them all, and maybe that's what you're talking about now. Maybe it wasn't a mass burial, maybe it was just their normal cemetery, but
Yeah, just That building, when you come in the parking lot, that's the old hospital building. So the graveyard was behind that old the hospital building.
See, I spent too much time in the porta potty. That's yeah.
So, Greg, when they were moving the bodies, did they move the women and children to the new military cemetery as well?
Oh, all together.
Yes.
That's good. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It was Elizabeth Pratt and their children, and there's other children. I have a list somewhere. I can't, but yeah, they have it was women and children and the men.
You don't have the list? Way to be prepared
I
for
have
a
it
podcast,
somewhere.
Greg.
I know I didn't prepare for it. Jeez, it's somewhere in my pile of
Well, see,
stuff.
and that brings up the next question then, is if they've been buried here and then they move their body somewhere else, do they travel with that or do they stay where they were originally?
Right. And,
Yeah.
see, and I've always been of the opinion, and MaryLynn, you can back this up, that I've always felt like a cemetery is a place more of peace, where I feel like there would not be a lot of involvement from the undead, because why would they? That's where they were laid to rest, right? That's where they were acknowledged, right? But if they're moved, and they're found that this is not where they're meant to be acknowledged, and they're moved to somewhere else, would that affect them? But what if you've already moved on? Like if Mike was there, right, and I was involved in that time, and I was one of those kids, and all of a sudden I find out I've been moved, I'm not gonna instantly die just to go back to my old self, right?
Right.
I know. So that is an interesting. I don't know.
Well,
I'm just
and
trying
that's
to
what
figure out.
I think on the cemeteries is like, so for me, I did go to a cemetery as an investigation, and there was one plot. It was a little boy that was about 3 years old. He had been ran over by a truck, and it was his brother who had backed over him, and the little boy stayed at the cemetery waiting for his family because he could not find them. He didn't know what was going on. So he knew where his body was. So that's where he stayed, waiting for them to visit him.
Oh, that's sweet. Oh, bless you. Bless.
Bless you.
And
again.
Excuse me, times three. So with
I
that,
think there's circumstances that they will stay, but
Okay,
then most of the time, I don't think that they do hang around. They're going to go on.
yeah.
That's an interesting question, though. If they're relocated,
Yeah.
if they're hanging around the original burial site, do they then move to where they're exhumed and moved to? You know what I mean? That's
Right.
an interesting question. Like,
And that would be
And
kind
and
of
if they've
Greg
already
brought up-
moved on, do they know?
right.
If they've already
How
moved
would
on,
they
do they
know?
even know
Yeah.
their body was moved?
No.
And Greg had brought
Right.
up the place in Philadelphia, where, I think you said 11 people were hung right at like a
Yeah,
street
Market
corner.
Street.
So like that's where I would open up a bar called the Hangout. But that way they'd know. At least. But
Yeah.
like how would you?
And have you call stuff musket shots.
Oh
There
yes,
you go.
Greg gets
Love
me.
it.
He gets me.
He does.
I would invest in that bar.
You right?
I would invest in it.
But you do bring up a point, like if that had happened and you had happened to have a past life experience there, I mean, could that be one of those things that draws you into the paranormal? Draws you into history, draws you into wanting to visit that location. Maybe you had no idea of what Fort Mifflin was, but you watched this podcast, you go, oh, you know what? I think I'm going to go visit that. That'd be great, honey. Let's go. And you plan to go visit Fort Mifflin in Philadelphia, right? Like, that's a weird thing to just say, yeah, that's what I'm going to spend my hard-earned dollars to. It's because it indicates, right? Because it indicates something that maybe that had happened in a past life.
It draws you in,
Yeah.
and that's where when you go there and then you've been there before, it's like you feel like you're at home.
It draws you like the French girls, like Leonardo DiCaprio did. in Titanic. You know,
I thought that was Kate Winslet.
that is true. It was
Yeah.
Caitlin. She's the one that got drawn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, she was also the dumb lady that threw a giant ruby necklace or whatever into the lake. Like, what were you thinking? Or the ocean? Sends people down there in that little straw thing. What do they call that thing? The little submarine. Do you remember that submarine?
Like the
That-
bubble.
Yeah, that imploded.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, some things are better left to just your imagination, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Leave it to that. And I think that's why we move on in life, because we're not meant to actually go back. We're just meant to reminisce,
Right.
Mhm.
right? We're meant
We should
to,
move on. Yes.
yes. Like, for example, Greg, he spent a lot, 10 years?
Yeah, I've been at the fort well over multiple years, volunteering stuff. But yeah, 10 years with the Ghost.
So, but I mean, that tells you right there that Greg may have just some sort of connection
Mhm.
to that location that doesn't even involve Greg's life now.
Right.
But because of what he's experienced, he's drawn there. So he wants to reminisce.
So,
You know,
Greg,
but
have
he-
you ever had a past life regression?
I could. I mean, I've had a near death experience. But
Well, yeah, I think you spoke a little bit about having some procedures done, mostly to your elbow, and that was pretty incredible. But yeah,
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I mean, I always, I think I was definitely drawn to the fort. I mean, I was pulled in.
well, I think that makes sense to me. I mean, but it's not like you go, scuba diving in the Delaware looking for bodies. You know what I mean?
Oh, nobody wants to jump in that river. No.
Right. So, I mean, Greg, I think he's found that level to where he can be appreciative of the history. He can honor those that want to reminisce without causing any type of consternation with what has happened or what will happen. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Respect the dead, respect the fort, and they respect you back.
Always.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. So if people were interested in hearing more about the fort or setting up an investigation or something, how would people go about doing that?
Well, the website, fortmifflin.us. All the information's out there. There's history of the fort is on the website.
If you can afford it.
And information for if you setting up any kind of investigation, or just all of our events come. The July 4th, we get a lot. We'll be busy all this weekend with all kinds of activities. And then, like I say, we do reenactments all year long, different time periods. We have all kinds of different events besides historical events. We have every year the Philadelphia Renaissance Fair spends the Memorial Weekend at the fort.
No way, it's awesome.
Yeah, that's always cool with the.
See some real cannonballs,
Yeah, we have weddings at the fort. We have music events at the fort. So there's a lot that goes on down at the fort. So if history, paranormal, it's total of 40 acres. You got a lot of nature down there. You got the river to watch the boats. You can hang out and watch the airplanes. There's a lot to do. So it's always a good thing. The history is the number one. To come out and learn about the history of the fort and the country of our 250th anniversary coming up. So fortmifflin.us, that's where you want to go.
Perfect.
So do you
I thought you were going to play us out.
want to play it out now, or do you want to talk about what we have coming up?
Oh, sure. We can talk about what we have coming up. That sounds great. Let's see here. Oh, no, never mind. It's gone. I don't know what happened. Okay. We have the Sax Man coming up. The Search for the Sax Man. That's coming up on July 10th to the 12th. I have a back procedure on the 6th. So I'm going to hope that goes well and that I can make it to this. I think MaryLynn, I think you have a popsicle appointment. I'm not sure.
I do, so I'm not going to be able to make it.
But I still plan on going. It's going to depend on whether or not I can walk. So we'll see how that goes. So we got the 3rd annual Search for the Axeman. Check that out. She's great. We will definitely be at the next one, which is the Christmas Spooktacular. That's July 24th to the 26th. And that is the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. You will get to see myself, MaryLynn, Katie will be there. Greg, will you be there at least in spirit?
I'll be there.
Hey!
I don't miss it. Yeah, I'll see you guys
Perfect.
there.
Greg will be there. We will have a presentation point, as well as my guess is right now. I'm not entirely sure, but there could very well be a very special beacon announcement that happens then. So that could be really awesome, and you'll get to see a lot of great beacon stars, great just film stars, some people that we just absolutely love and adore. And it is Gettysburg, so I'm still trying to have Spaghettisburg happen. We'll see. So that's coming up. That's July 24th to 26th. I think the next thing is actually not until August 8th, which is a Lost Goat gig. This is brought to you by Katie, myself, MaryLynn, and we will have a couple of incredible special guests in the form of the insanely beautiful Rochelle Stratton and Michael Angus. But again, insanely beautiful Rochelle Stratton. Okay, I cannot.
She's got great teeth.
She has great everything.
She
okay?
should.
Great everything.
Yeah.
So please come down to that. It is a pay for event, but anything that you decide to pay for, like if you pay to come see us, all that money goes to helping us film season 3 of Pair with the Normal. So we would absolutely love to have you guys there, mostly to see Rochelle Stratton's great teeth, as Greg pointed out.
We do have, for the ticket holders, they will be put into a drawing to possibly join Mike and I for filming.
Yes, and the Greene County Poor Farm, thanks to Katie, it is one of the craziest freaking places you will ever get a chance to experience. This is right up there with Yorktown and Edinburgh and Waverly Hills. This place is nuts, guys. So this is literally like a one of a kind place that you're going to want to see. MaryLynn, she's going to be there. She's going to be doing some paintings. I will be there. I will not be doing paintings.
I can't do paintings on site. So what I'm going to do is do a drawing for someone to win a painting who's going to be there, a ticket holder.
Oh, you can't do paintings on site?
No, they don't want us to do it on site. Too risky.
Yeah.
Too risky.
For damage. Yeah.
Oh, they don't want you to cause any. Yeah.
And I don't, but
she gets crazy. No, she gets nuts with it. Don't listen, folks.
She does.
It goes everywhere.
All over the place.
Okay?
Yep.
All over the place. So that's fine. I was going to do chili dogs, so maybe I won't. I'll think something else. Maybe I'll do my corn dog juice. This is where you squeeze the corn dog into a cup, and then you sell the juice. It's very delicious, folks. Highly nutritious, probably, maybe, I don't know. So check that out. That's going to be August 8th. Michael Angus, he's there. The absolute leader of any type of assistant that you need. That is a technician. He knows them. So you definitely want to meet him and get to know a little bit more about. And he's going to be the star of Cursed Waters, which is a brand new show on Beacon. Thanks to Misty and Katie or this event would not even that show would not even happen. So when you watch that and you like it, thank them. If you hate it, please
Don't tell me.
contact shane.pittman@beacon.com. Okay.
Right.
Um, Ghosts do like to finger paint. It's true. So those are some, and then we have after that in September, we've got some other great things. We have the Maine Horror Paracon. We're going to be at that, which is incredible. I'm very excited for that. They're going to have the lady who was in The Grudge, which is incredible. I'm very excited to meet her. And then we will also be at the Underworld Culture Con. That's going to be great. Yeah. He's not as cool as us, but he is very cool, and he's got such a great mustache. I absolutely love it. Greg can give him a run for his money, though. Look at Greg's. Greg's got a great mustache. But we will be, and those are both in September. Those are going to be fantastic. I'll use that as a moment to say the woman who played Samara in The Ring and also as Lilo in Lilo and Stitch, the cartoon. The female, she passed away. She was not even in her 40s yet. And they discovered that she had died from AIDS and from heavy drug use. And the only reason why I bring this up is because parents, if you have kids, talk to your kids. You got to keep control of your kids, man. You got to let them know what life is like outside of being in a household. You know, especially if you're used to the fame and you get this money and you have these opportunities. Don't let other people take advantage of your own children. So please love your kids. Make sure they understand what drugs is. Make sure they understand what diseases are. Make sure they're safe. Make sure they're protected. Because that hurt me right in the feels. Because that was the first horror movie I ever watched was The Ring. That was the first one that made me realize that there was something to it. That there was something to horror. There was something to the paranormal. So that hurt me right in the gut, guys. So take care of your kids, man. That's all I got to say about that. So that's it.
I was gonna say, with that, I'll play this out.
Yeah.
Hang out with us for a bit, Greg.
All right, I'll see you guys in Gettysburg.
I don't know what happened.